penguin humeri that have bite marks all the way down it, and we're not quite sure what kind of fish or shark bit into these penguins to kill it, you know? Whether or not it scavenged it, whether or not that was the final killing blow to the animal. There's an awful lot that we're still yet to really properly understand, but just recently we made this incredible find. One of the people that I work with for the Lost World at Bayside, which is the project that I'm working at, and he found this very dense bit of skull, and I went, it's very strange. It's probably about that size, about that thick, and it had a clear-cut break to it as well. And I thought to myself, geez, it looks a lot like another specimen that had been collected a little bit earlier as well. So we got the specimen, and we got him because I wanted him to be there as well, this amazing citizen scientist. And we got the specimen that I thought might connect to it. And sure enough, so there had been a specimen that had been collected in 1977 by a member of the public. And it's the rostrum, or the beak, of a beaked whale. And it's incredibly dense. You know, if you ting it, you'll be able to hear the ding almost go all the way through it. And so we lined the two up, and they were just an absolute perfect match. So it had been separated by over 43 years of being out in the water, but it's the oldest evidence of beaked whales on the continent of Australia now. And it's incredibly important for that reason alone. You know, there was another one earlier last year. I talked a little bit about the pelargonithids, those huge flying birds with the wingspan the same as the height of a giraffe, 6 to 7 meters in length. Right? They were truly massive animals. Their wing bones shouldn't survive in the fossil record. They only have a density of maybe 3 millimeters thickness for their cortex of bone all the way around. So bird bones are characteristically very hollow, and they're usually very crushed as well. This specimen was uncrushed. And the same citizen scientist came up to me and said, I think I've got something here that's very important. I looked at it and I said, yep, there's no doubt that it's pelargonithid. And then as a joke, I was like, you know what, let's go through the collection and compare it to the other specimens that have been found before, you know? So we did that. And then we took one that had been discovered in 1976. And we took the one that had been discovered in 2019. And somehow they managed to join perfectly together. And I blew my mind that, you know, this is a specimen that probably shouldn't have even survived in the fossil record to begin with because of the fragility of the bone. But for that element to have survived for 44 years, you know, out and about, and for it to join perfectly like that was just unheard of. So, you know, it makes me think, where's the rest of it still? You know, because there's 2 other broken ends to it. There's more of this specimen, and the more that we go out and hunt and prospect and find this material, the more incredible discoveries we make. So the rest of that beaked whale skull is probably out there. The rest of that giant pseudo-toothed bird is out there as well. And it's just a matter of getting out there at the most opportune times and being able to find it, and then being able to say, and have that catalog in the back of your mind and go, hey, that reminds me of something. We should compare it to this, you know?
I really want to learn it. I live in a hotbed of fossils, so I really do. And the opportunities and the places I work are fabulous, and being able to share that would just be super exciting.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and so thanks so much for this.
Thank you, Miss Rue.
Really enjoyed this conversation. Not just, here's a bone in a case, here's a fossil in a case. I find that very challenging to stay interested. But here's the story of how this was. And this is a clue. That's what all of what you do is. It's a clue to our history.
I mean, and paleontology is very much combining both a geological and a biological aspect. It's about understanding how the animal lived, and it's also understanding about the process in which the bone actually went through to preserve in the first place and be found as it was as well. And that's equally as important, because without the geology, without understanding the time and the era and processes that it undergoes, there's no way that we could say, yeah, we have the youngest evidence of the largest predators the world has ever seen. You can't make a statement like that unless you know anything about the geology that's going on around you. So it's equally as important.
And I suspect when we talks about comparative anatomy, we have to do that on an evolutionary basis.
Yeah.
You know, look at this animal we know about and look at this animal we don't, and then we make assumptions based on science how this animal got to be the way it is and why. And so I think they should be separate conversations, because we would go in so many tangents. But I think that, you know, the trouble that biologists, scientists in general had, not that many years ago, we'll say within the last 150 years, was that they couldn't talk to each other. So they developed ideas at the same time, but they weren't able to put the pieces together. And now that is, our information is converging at a rapid rate. So,
yeah.
But we still don't always cross disciplines.
Food for thought.
Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we will talk very soon.